Every runner I've ever worked with wants to run faster. The problem is they don't know the formula of how to get there. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4 essential hip drive exercises you're likely missing in your routine that's going to unlock your speed and power and help you hit that next gear. The most common thing runners miss when they try to unlock their speed is hip drive. Hip drive happens once you've landed in your running position. Hip drive happens when you have to activate your glute and your quad together to drive yourself forward. This hip drive, your leg has to go behind you into extension, and you have to use your glute and your hamstring and calf to drive through and push off that position. Now, a lot of people are tight in their hip flexors so they can't get their leg behind them. They don't know how to activate, turn on their buttocks muscle, and it's not strong enough. So the drills I'm going to show you are all hip drive exercises. We're going to be using this super band and later on a kettlebell to train that pattern of movement so that when you go out and run, you can really drive the speed by using your glute. So you're going to get a super band, a big long band. For this first drill, you're going to put it around your waist, and you're going to step out so there's tension in the band. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to sit back into, heels stay on the ground, you're going to sit back into a hip hinge, and then you're going to drive forward and squeeze really nice and tight both glutes, and then you're going to sit back into a hip hinge, drive quickly up and forward. Stay leaning forward, drive with your glutes, hold for 3 seconds, sit down, drive through. What you don't want to do, you don't want to come up on your toes, and you don't want to lean to either side. Stay equal between left and right glute. Once you get good, you can start to add in some speed. Drop into the hip hinge, squeeze, drop into the hip hinge, squeeze. This is the first drill to really learn how to get the right amount of glute drive. If you feel it in your quads and your thighs, if you feel it in your knees, you're likely not pushing enough with your hips. You want to do 15, 20, 25 repetitions. Whenever you feel tired, take a break and do 2 to 3 sets. This is a repetitive action you want to train to make sure that when you're out running, your brain is going to pick up that motion and be able to use it while you run. All right, so most of you runners are going to find that initial drill fairly easy. You can add a backpack with weight, you can add dumbbells, you can add a heavier band to make that drill harder. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a very similar drill, except this time we're going to use one leg. Why? Running is a one-leg sport, and it's essential that you are able to activate your glute and drive your hip forward on one leg to drive speed and power in running. So let's dive into that drill. All right, runners, so for this part of the drill, you're going to be on one leg in a split stance squat. So my right leg is in front of my left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down into a hip hinge, almost like I'm lunging. So my knee is at my toes, my hip is back, and my chest is forward. I'm not rounded at the back, shoulders are square over the hips. There's already tension in this band, that's key. Now from here, I'm going to take this glute and I'm going to drive it forward until this leg, my right leg, is fully straight and my opposite leg is at 90 degrees. It's going to look like this. So if you can coordinate the arms, which is the hard part, get your arms here like you're running, and then you're going to drive forward till, see here, I'm leaning forward, shoulders are over hips, glute is engaged, knee is locked, and then this leg's at 90 degrees, arms at 90 degrees, and then drop back into the hip hinge. From here again, drive with the glute, hold at this top position for a couple seconds, and then back into the hip hinge. So you're going to develop a nice rhythm as you do this. You might need to pause at the top, you might need a hand hold for support, but eventually you want to add some speed to this. So it'll look like this. Again, hip hinge split squat, drive, down, drive through, down. Really drive with the glute. You see me press my hips forward at the top. That press is the key piece of this entire motion. So make sure that when you're doing it, you're just driving with the glute as the key part of this exercise. If you don't get that piece, you'll miss the entire value. In terms of sets and reps for this drill, probably 15 to 25 repetitions depending on fatigue, and then work on getting that speed into that motion so you can transfer that skill back into running itself. So those are 2 great drills to learn the hip drive action to unlock your speed in running. The next thing we're going to add in, similar as the last drill, we're going to add in a step and we're going to add in some weights. Weights are going to help drive strength, and the step is going to engage your quad, which is another key piece of getting the right hip drive when you run. This is how it looks. All right, runners, so here I have 2 8-pound weights. Use whatever weights you feel you're able to do with safe form. And I have about a 10-inch step, standard step you'll find at your gym, still using the super band wrapped around my waist. Same starting position here, arm at 90 degrees, knee bent, split squat, tension already in the band. From here, you're now going to drive through up onto the step, hold 2 seconds with a really good hip hinge, come back down, butt back, chest forward. Drive the hip through, hold 1, 2, and then back down. This exercise is key. Uses your arms, which you need to help pull your body forward and maintain proper rotation. The step drives quad and glute action, and then the band continues to give you the cue to press your butt forward. When doing the banded step drill for hip drivers, you probably want to do 8 to 10 reps, and you want to give yourself probably a minute or 2 minutes in between each set so you have enough energy for the next one, so that you can use enough weight to drive that strength training benefit. Hey runners, if you're finding value so far in these videos, it would mean the world to me if you just hit like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to get more of my videos. All right, let's dive into the last drill I'm going to show you today, kettlebell swings. You've likely done this before, but you need to put the emphasis on the hip drive. That's the key part of this drill, so that you drive power and explosiveness and you still get your glutes engaged. Let's dive into it. So with kettlebell swings, use a weight heavy enough that you really have to push through your legs and not lift with your arms. There's a lot of people that don't use a full hip hinge, and you'll feel it a lot in your shoulders and chest. That's not the emphasis of this drill. You should feel it in your quads, and you should feel it in your butt muscles. This is how it looks. So in a kettlebell swing, you're going to start down in a hip hinge position, chest forward, and the weight is going to be basically between your legs. From there, you're going to use your hip drive, right? Pressing your butt directly forward like you're pushing the band to throw the kettlebell in the air with the power from your glutes, something like this. So as I drive my hip, that momentum moves the kettlebell. If I don't get a full hip drive and don't lock my knees, what happens is I have to lift with my arms and we lose the whole value of the drill. If you need to use the super band around your hips to get the hip drive, do that. You don't want to squat down when you do a kettlebell swing. It's a hip hinge, so just the hip, little bend in the knee, throw your hips forward as the weight comes up, and you'll develop a nice rhythm and speed to your kettlebell swings. So for these, you probably want to do 10 to 12 repetitions. Use weight heavy enough that it's a challenge but still safe, and make sure you're getting the hip drive. All right, those are 4 drills you can use to increase your hip drive and unlock speed that you have within you that you didn't know you had by building your glute and building your hip drive. It is the one piece I see runners miss all the time when trying to work on their speed. Sure, you might be doing track workouts, you might be doing strides, but this is the missing piece to allow those to be the best they can be. All right, runners, thanks so much for watching. Drop a comment below about how you increase your running speed. Feel free to ask me a question. I answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other videos on the screen here about activating your glutes to get more emphasis and performance out of these drills. Till next time, guys, train smarter and perform better.